The blade dealer, make a nigga forfeit, yeah, cause I'm the realest. Hey, niggas talking short shit, nah, I need a million.
Big stepper, yeah, bitch, I be steppin'. Coolin' kit with the flip switch, bitch, that's the weapon. No drama.
Welcome to New York Giants Full Access.
This legend bring them sounds in one time.
I'm hard, and we got you. And that's it, man. Go purchase Big Pat Sports Talk merch and support the family, man. And welcome to Big Pat Sports Talk. Thank you for your support. What's going on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all platforms? Welcome to another episode of New York Giants Full Access with your boy Big Pat Sports Talk. And today's episode, we're going to be listening to another Giants basher, hater. He normally doesn't have anything good to say about the New York Giants. Mr. Colin Cowherd, on his show, he talks about that there's a disconnect between John Mara and Joe Schoen based on the scene from the Hard Knocks episode 3 when John Mara told him that he wouldn't be sleep well if Saquon Barkley went to the Eagles. So let's listen in. Let's listen to his points. And you know I'm going to chime in. And let's get into it.
The one thing I do know about being a general manager, and I got a lot of friends who do it, you got to have some sort of relationship with the owner that's comfortable. You have to trust the owner. You've got to be able to read your owner's temperament. Sometimes the owner has kids in the building.
That's very true. Sorry to interrupt so early in the video, but that is very true. When you're a GM, you do have to have some type of relationship with the owner because he's the owner of the team. You guys have to have a common goal, and you guys have to be able to have discernment on the way to get to that goal. And you have to know how to read the room. You have to know how to read the owner and see what he's thinking and how things should be done. And you guys have to, give banter with each other. Hey, I believe if we go this direction, we can get to the common goal that we're trying to get to, which is win a Super Bowl. Or at the very least, be a very good team. So, yeah, he's correct on that.
Sometimes the owner can be, like Jim Irsay in Indianapolis, a little impulsive. Sometimes, almost all the time, the owner thinks he knows more about football than he does. But there was a moment.
That could be very true with John Mara in the past, and that's why we're on the path that we have been on the past decade. But carry on.
In this, so John Mara is sitting there on the table, and this is before Saquon Barkley in free agency left for the rival Eagles. And the GM is Joe Schoen, a handsome young guy from Buffalo. He's got two underlings in the chairs. Watch all the body language with this and listen as Mara is just really uncomfortable with his star Saquon Barkley going to rival Philadelphia potentially. That's really bad. Like, the owner's not happy. Joe Schoen's smiling. The underlings have their head down. Like, it's really uncomfortable. And he doesn't have an answer. Well, I'm hearing that, but it may not be true. So if you're hearing it via a text, you don't trust your sources? I trust mine, and I'm just a radio guy. You're a GM. Do you think that's what it looks like with Les Snead and Stan Kroenke and Sean McVay potentially? Or Brett Veach and the Hunt family?
Do you know? Because you're speaking on it like you do know. Like, do you know the relationship between those guys? Since you want to compare their relationship to Joe Schoen's and John Mara's relationship, do you even know Joe Schoen's and John Mara's relationship? Because when I seen it, I seen after everything happened that Joe Schoen said, yeah, we're going to be okay. And John Mara replied, yeah, we are going to be okay. That's what I seen. What kind of body language do you expect anyone to have in that office when Saquon Barkley is trying to go to the Eagles? Or went to the Eagles? What do you expect one of your best players to go to your rival? What type of body language do you expect everybody to have? Obviously, it's not a very good day. So you're trying to say that there's a rift between John Mara and Joe Schoen because Saquon Barkley went to the Eagles after Joe Schoen offered Saquon Barkley 4 contracts before then? It's not like he never tried to re-sign Saquon Barkley. It's Saquon Barkley wanted more money from the Giants that we were willing to give. That contract that he signed from the Eagles was around the same money that he was offered a year prior. And he turned it down. So all this stuff about, oh, we never offered Saquon Barkley a contract, probably that off season, but the off seasons before, he was offered a contract. He was offered a contract in the middle of the season in 2022. Then he was offered 3 more contracts the off season before 2023. So what, Joe Schoen was just supposed to bend over and give Saquon Barkley what he wanted and kept his team around the same? Because if you give that money to Saquon Barkley, we don't get the offensive lineman. We probably don't even get Brian Burns. So what's the solution to this process that everybody's talking about? Oh, they let Saquon Barkley walk out the door. What's the solution? Sign Saquon Barkley and be the same thing over and over and over again? I don't know.
That's Mickey Mouse. Joe Schoen's smiling. The underlings are uncomfortably looking down. The owner's got his hand on his face. And Joe Schoen's answer is, well, I don't really know. If Lachlan Murdoch, who owns this company, was in my morning meeting and said, I'd be really uncomfortable if you didn't talk about soccer a lot today, you know what my lead would be? Soccer.
And that's the issue. You have no backbone. That's why you're not a guy in a leadership position. You're a worker bee. When a guy in a leadership position, he has to make leadership decisions. Obviously, a previous GM and Dave Gettleman kowtowed to John Mara, and look what happened. Did the moves that he made were in the best interest of the Giants? No. When you're a GM of a team, you are paid to do a job. You are paid to get the owner's team to where he wants to be, and that's in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, you're going to have a set. You're going to have to make some decisions that the owner may not particularly like. When you're the leader of an organization, you're going to have to make some decisions that everybody's not going to like, sir. So he was supposed to kowtow to John Mara and give Saquon Barkley all his money and not get the offensive line fixed, not get one of the premier edge rushers in the league, and the team looks the same. The offensive line is still ranked 32nd, and we go 3-14, which everybody predicted, but hey, we still got Saquon Barkley. You think that's going to save his job? That's the difference in the level of what Joe Schoen is doing and what somebody like you are doing. You're a host of a radio show, and you have no choice but to kowtow to what they tell you to talk about. But Joe Schoen's in a position of power to where he has been given the keys to an owner's team to get them where they need to go. And so a good owner is going to want his GM to have a set and trust his judgment and trust his plan and see where it goes. Because if it was like that, why would a GM even have the position? It would be like a Jerry Jones situation. So heck yeah, I'm glad Joe Schoen did not re-sign Saquon Barkley because it was out of his price range. And he didn't kowtow to John Mara, which John Mara was not really putting pressure on him like that. He was just sad at the fact that Saquon Barkley leaving would go to the Eagles, which is understandable. Does John Mara have a right to state his opinion? Hell yeah, it's his team. He owns it. But a good owner hires a GM that he believes that is capable of running things and running his organization to get his team to the promised land. And you have to trust your GM, because if you don't trust your GM and force your GM to do moves that you want to be made, what's the use of even hiring a GM? Just run the team yourself. But carry on.
Read the room. Read the owner.
Man, you read the room. No, you go with your plan and read the way your team needs to be built and make the best decisions for your team. And Joe Schoen's decision was fix the trenches. We had the worst offensive line and one of the worst teams at getting after the quarterback. He made moves to get those two things done because he felt that was more important than having a superstar running back. A running back that cannot reach his potential because your offensive line is so trash that nobody that you bring to this team is going to be able to reach their potential because they don't have time. They don't have the blocking. You can't run the schemes that you have because you don't have the blocking. You can't run the ball the way that you want to run the ball because you don't have the blocking. You can't throw the passes that you want to throw because you don't have the blocking. You can't control the clock the way you want to because you don't have the blocking. You can't keep your defense off the field the way you want to because you don't have the blocking for the offense to stay on the field and not go 3 and out or can't get third and shorts. But I got a high price running back for what?
Like, the bottom line is, maybe Mara created some of this stuff because he wanted to re-sign Daniel Jones, and I don't think anybody else in the world wanted to in New York.
And that's where it comes back to. Everybody's cash cow. Everybody's beating dummy. Daniel Jones. Oh, it goes right back to Daniel Jones signing Daniel Jones. That had nothing to do with it. Because they went to Barkley before Daniel Jones. And they went to Barkley after signing Daniel Jones. And he refused every contract. And guess what? The contract that he got from the Eagles was similar to the contract offered by Joe Schoen. So let's not act like, oh, Daniel Jones' contract was so big we were only able to offer Barkley $5 million or something like that. No, Barkley refused all those deals because he wanted Christian McCaffrey money, and they weren't willing to do that. We got more pressing needs on this team than a running back that can be ineffective because we don't have the people in front of him to make him more effective. So what, you just going to sign Saquon Barkley to make everybody feel good? It's the same reason why he didn't sign Xavier McKinney. McKinney's a very good player, but is he the number 2 ranked safety in the league? I don't think so. And neither did Joe Schoen. So guess what? They didn't give him the $17 million that the Packers gave to him. Maybe the Packers felt that Xavier McKinney was the missing piece to their team. Read your team. You read the room, sir.
But I watch the Giants here, and there is a disconnect between owner and GM, and I'm uncomfortable watching it. You ever watch Jeopardy when there's 3 people on there and 2 are really smart and 1 isn't, and 1's getting crushed, and you're kind of uncomfortable for the person getting crushed? Like, I'm uncomfortable watching Joe Schoen there.
So you're uncomfortable watching Joe Schoen, the GM that came to a team that was in disarray and made the playoffs his very first year. Yes, they had a bad second year, but there was a lot of injuries that happened to all the key players. So you're uncomfortable watching Joe Schoen. Please explain that to me of one interaction between John Mara and Joe Schoen, and that interaction is being way, way, way overblown. Where's your sources that say Joe Schoen and John Mara have a huge rift? Where's your examples? You got one example of Saquon Barkley leaving, and all of a sudden, John Mara, Joe Schoen, they don't get along. They have a rift. Joe Schoen's the dumb person in the room. The dude that pulls off a deal for Brian Burns, and 3 months earlier, he was projected to be at least 2 first-round picks. He gets it for a second-round pick. He trades Leonard Williams for a second-round pick. He gets a third-round pick for Kadarius Toney. The same dude that signed Bobby Okereke. The same dude that got Pinnock from the Jets. The same dude drafted Deonte Banks. Same dude that drafted Kayvon Thibodeau. Same dude that got this Giants team in the playoffs when nobody gave them a chance to win more than 2 games that season. The same guy that got every single player that he wanted in that very same episode of Hard Knocks. But he's the dumb guy in the room and you're uncomfortable watching it. Based off 10 seconds of John Mara and Joe Schoen talking. Forget everything else Joe Schoen has done. He's the idiot in the room for letting Saquon Barkley walk. Damn fixing the O-line. Damn getting pressure on the quarterback. You sign Saquon Barkley and let's continue to put him behind the offensive line that not allows him to do what he needs to do. That continues to let him get hit in the backfield. That continues to let the quarterback get killed. That continues to make your game plan very, very small because you can't run anything because the offensive line can't hold up. The same GM that's drafted Michael McFadden in the 5th round, he's turning out to be a very good player. The same, man, go ahead.
Bro, you got to have answers. When billionaires walk into rooms, if I know I'm going to have a member of the Murdoch family in a room I'm in, I prep for it. Even if it's over a glass of wine and a brief 90-second conversation.
So Joe Schoen is unprepared because Saquon Barkley walks and goes signs with somebody else. He didn't have an answer for what team that he was getting ready to go to because nobody really had an answer for the team that he's getting ready to go to until it was reported. But you know what his counteraction was? Hey, we're going to lose Saquon Barkley, but we're going to get a top edge rusher, and we're going to fix this offensive line. That's what his answer was, goofy. Doesn't make any type of sense, bro.
I'm ready to roll. If that's what the GM-owner conversations look like, well, my sources tell me, I don't know if that's true. So you don't know anything. You're the GM. You don't really know anything.
What GM knows where every player is getting ready to sign? Joe Schoen didn't know anything. He didn't know that the Cardinals were trying to sign light-skinned Jermaine. He didn't know the Jets were trying to sign Runyon. He didn't already have a backup plan if Saquon Barkley left and signed a Devin Singletary, who came off a productive season and only got 8 starts last year but still got 900 yards. He didn't have a plan. He didn't have a plan that if he couldn't get the quarterback that he wanted and trade up, he didn't have a plan for Daniel Jones to get Malik Neighbors and see what they can do. He didn't have a plan at all this offseason. So all of the moves that we made this offseason just just happened. He didn't have nothing to do with it. It just happened. He didn't have a full team, having full people on the board of where we can go. If we do this, we're going to do this. If we do that, we can do this. If we sign this player, we might not be able to sign this player. Or if Barkley leaves, we can have these 5 running backs that we can get if Barkley decides to leave. He didn't pinpoint the offensive lineman that he wanted and got him. He didn't pinpoint Brian Burns, the edge that he wanted, and got him. He didn't do none of that. He's just some goof. Because he didn't know that if Barkley was going to sign with the Eagles or the Bears. He did know that the Bears drove up the price, and that's why his price was so high. He did know that. But you don't mention that.
And that's the owner. And it's so predictable for Joe Schoen and the Giants. Saquon's going to go crush in Philadelphia.
How do you know that? How do you know that? What if Saquon Barkley gets injured again? Are you going to keep this same statement? Are you going to keep that same energy? Because he's known to get hurt. How do you know that?
Great player. Howie Roseman is just working the Giants. He gets a great...
Yeah, but we whooped their ass and made them quit the last game of the season. And at the end of the last season, they lost 6 of their last 7 games. And they had a 1,000-yard running back in Swift who only signed for $8 million with the Bears, but they're going to give Saquon Barkley $12.5 to $13 million per year. Now, what if he goes over there and gets the same production as Swift? Let's say he gets less production than Swift. Is Howie Roseman so great? You don't know. That dude can get hurt at any given moment. We've seen it for 6 years over here with the Giants. Is he a good player? Yeah. Man. And I'm actually tired of listening to this clown. But that's what he says. The Joe Schoen and John Mara have a rift. They don't have... Joe Schoen doesn't have a clue what he's doing. And he's not doing anything in the organization. Everything that's been done has just happened. That's what they're saying. I can't wait for this season to start. And I can't wait for the Giants to beat the Eagles. I can't wait. But this is the crap that real Giants fans have to listen to and have to look like, man, what are you talking about? Because even you're not one of those negative fans that just want to bash the organization every chance you get because you feel that gives you some type of popularity here in this damn Twitter space. And you're part of the cool kids, then you can accept this crap. I don't accept this crap. It's absolute BS. You're going to base a whole relationship between a GM and a coach based on one part of a show. 3 minutes into a show. And then don't even acknowledge that when John Mara left the office, he said, yeah, we are going to be okay. Of course he's not going to sleep well if his best player goes to his rival. Of course he's not. But the circumstances are greater than Saquon Barkley. We needed to fix this offensive line, and we needed to get pressure on the quarterback. And that was Joe Schoen's plan. And if you have to lose a Saquon Barkley in the process, so be it. Because if we have a better offensive line, the offense is better regardless. We only averaged 15 points last year with Saquon Barkley on this team. Why? Because the offensive line couldn't produce. So if I could get a total of 1,100 to 1,200 yards with 2 to 3 running backs, I make up the production that Saquon Barkley did last year, and my passing game can have better production because our quarterback is protected. And if he doesn't produce, we have absolute right to get rid of Daniel Jones and bring in somebody that we feel that can produce, because we have the foundation for him. We have Neighbors, we have Hyatt, we have Wan'Dale Robinson. If this offensive line turns out to be good, we have the offensive line. Now we just need to get this quarterback and get him up to speed, and let's rock and roll. But you would rather us just keep Saquon Barkley, have the same offensive line doing the same BS, and him getting hurt, and this offense not be able to produce, and this offense not be able to go to his maximum potential because the offensive line can't block, which hurts the defense as well. That's what you would rather Joe Schoen do. Keep Saquon Barkley behind a crap offensive line. Ooh, they could have drafted some rookies. You don't know if those rookies are going to be better. Just like you don't know if these free agents will be better. But I got a chance with some veterans coming off a very good season that they could come in and produce immediately. Because that's what they need. They have to find out what Daniel Jones is about. They have to find out what these receivers can do. And you can't find that out if you have an offensive line that can't block. But anyway, man, thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that big blue join button, and talk your talk with Big Pat Sports Talk, and join the Big Blue crew. And cop you some merch. I'm not going to tell y'all again. Thank you guys who copped a few merch pieces yesterday. I appreciate you guys. Go ahead and cop you some merch, man. If you support the podcast, if you support the channel, you support Big Pat, go ahead and copy some merch, and when you do, let me know so I can give you a shout out. But until the very next episode, you know what it is, man. Peace.
Hitting the mic, spitting the facts, coming with full access. Big Pat hitting the house with giant tactics. Eli's handoff, rapping the classics. 90s beats, we blast this in New York. Big Blue. Where the G-men roam, Super Bowls in the vault, that's the Empire's home. Red, white, and blue, where the legends are grown. Giants full access, this the zone, got the tone.